I think when you're talking about getting ready to retire, doing some retirement prep, matter of going over your finances, going over your situation, when you're going to collect Social Security, all those things come into play. But I think one of the very important things that a lot of people overlook is that they don't consider their health. And they ended up either waiting too long to retire and their health has already deteriorated, or they think that they can worry about it after the fact, and then as they are in their early years of retirement, they get sick, and then everything takes a crap. It's not necessarily a good place to be, for sure. And ideally, you want to go into retirement in pretty good health. The stats say that by the time you're 65, your health, if you haven't already picked up a major health issue, you're in a pretty good situation. Now, my particular situation happened when I was 39. I had an upper aortic aneurysm. I was blessed and was saved, but I have been pacemaker dependent since that time. And now I also have congestive heart failure and what's considered advanced chronic congestive heart failure. And it's been going on 3 or 4 years now. And it doesn't really necessarily get better or worse. This is where you're at. Your infraction rating for your heart is at this number, and it's probably not going to be better, but if you can maintain your health and you have the good meds, you can probably sustain and do pretty well for a long time. And so far, that's been the case for me. I've been on the best medicines you can take for heart failure now for going on 4 years. And I've been considered high activity, a good responder to the meds, because I've been able to keep my lifestyle pretty much the same. I work out every day. I eat right. I've always been a guy that works out and eats right. And I'm actually always dieting to some degree because I'm trying to lose any of the excess weight that you don't need to carry with you, because the more you carry, the more chances and likelihood is of you having other issues crop up. Your body just doesn't need to be as big as you think it is, or think as big as it is now, regardless of what kind of shape you're in. So part of that process is just getting rid of any of the excess weight you don't really need. So if you're a fit guy like me, I'm at 195 pounds. I'm up or down a pound or two daily. I'm trying to get down to what would be considered ideal BMI, which would be at the most 189. It's really not that big of an amount of weight to lose to get there. However, the implications are better, and that's always good news to have. You want to be at a lower weight if you can be. But it's not just about the weight itself. You also need to have an activity level that's going to respond and give you the kind of life you want. I'm going to be just going a little over 60 when I retire, in 30 and out, which for me that's a little over a year from now. I'll technically be retiring June of 26, but between now and then, I won't turn 61 until October of 26. So I'll be out, and that doesn't mean I'm not going to work. It just means that I won't be at my current job. We have already started our plans for retirement by moving to Florida. My wife is down there with my daughter finishing up college. I am up here staying at my parents' house and my mom's house as we negotiate these times. It's as fun as you can imagine, living with your parent again at 59, but it's worked out for me and for her, and there's nothing wrong with it, and I'm very glad she had the room for me. But part of that is you got to plan ahead for those kinds of things, and that includes planning ahead for the kind of life and activity you want to have, and being somebody who remains active and continues to lift, continues to walk, continues to maintain a healthy eating habits. Those are things you're going to take into retirement with you. You don't want to get to retirement in my opinion, overweight, out of shape, and then expect you're going to travel the world. If that's what you want to do, you better start planning for that physical aspect of your life right now, because typically what I know of people that have retired and what I see happening is that people retire with no real purpose and no plan, and all of a sudden they can't do the fun things they hoped they would be able to do because they're out of shape. They can't walk up and down the street. They can't go to a good park and walk. We spent wow, that was a sharper turn than I expected. We spent a summer excuse me, walking DC one time for a couple days, and it was a struggle for people to keep up and to do that, because it's a big area just to walk. I think they call it the Mall of the Museums, where all the good stuff is at, where it's cool to go see American history and life. But we had some folks with us that couldn't keep up as well, and you could tell. And we cut a lot of our time short doing some of those things because they couldn't keep up. And we wanted to have fun as a family and as a group, and that's why we stopped. But regardless, they were not prepared physically to have that kind of an activity level. And one of the easiest ways to do that now, sorry, I had to unbuckle to get the phone, and since we're recording and I'm not editing, this is what you're going to get. So I don't have a chance to put my seatbelt back on. It's going to beep for a second. But I'm going to, you need to start working on activity levels as soon as you can. And now is a good time as any to do that. There's no reason you can't start walking. Even in the winter, while I'm up in northern, upper Midwest, cold, snow, crap, the days that I'm not at work, I go to the mall and I walk with the mall walkers. Sundays they open up the mall at 10:30, and I go out there and I do some laps with the older generation, the people in the twilight of their retirement time. Not all, but most. And it gives me something to do. It gets me out of the house, and it keeps my activity level up. And that's what it always has to be about. Fitness is not just about what can I do right now. It's also about what can I do every day. And being fit and able to walk stairs, walk malls, go to parks, spend time with your grandkids, spend time with your friends, playing golf, pickleball, which is all the rage right now, anything like that. All those things come from having some physical ability. And if you aren't at that point now, going into retirement is not going to get any easier. You think you're going to have more time, and you will, but you'll probably have more time to do less, because a lot of folks just go into retirement and don't break bad habits that they have of going home on the weekends, sitting in front of the comfy chair and watching TV, because they're used to relaxing on their time off. And your time off is every day, all day now, right? Saturdays, every day is Saturday. There is no more Mondays when you're retired. And those people that fall into that category have a very difficult time working up to where they can get up and start moving around and doing things again. And it's because they just don't have those habits now. So now is the time to start doing that. If you're still working, if you're closer to retirement than farther away, if you're on the downside of the hill going to retirement, start taking time every day to go for 15-20 minute walks. It doesn't take a lot to get your body moving again. And the old saying is that a body in motion stays in motion, and also the counter of that is a body in rest stays at rest. And what the last thing you want to do when you hit retirement time is to go home and sit and then basically wait to die. That does not sound like what I worked for my whole life for, and I'm sure it's not what you planned on either. So start with that. I would suggest anybody, try to get those things done and get them going now. And if you're already retired, if you're in a climate that is encouraging to get outside more, get outside more. Even just getting up and going up and down your stairs at your home or whatever it's going to take. Those things go a long way when it comes to having overall health and your fitness improve. So anyway, that's part of what you have to plan for. It's I think one of the biggest things that people overlook when they talk about retirement. I've been physically fit and active my entire life for the most part because I've always been considered the fat guy and I've always been trying to lose weight. And so I was always doing all the things that you need to do, like working out, eating right, all those things to try to lose the extra weight. And now it's not like I'm overweight per se, but it wouldn't hurt to be 10 or 15 pounds lighter either, because that's just easier on your body, easier on your heart. In my particular case, that's what I'm looking for, is to make my heart work as best as it can for as long as it can. Now, I know it's not necessarily bestest is not the word you want to use, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, thanks for hanging with me on this video and in surviving the road with me. And hopefully our little tumble didn't distract you too much. We'll talk next time.